I was really excited when I was appointed to this position in the start of March, and I already had a very clear idea of what I wanted to deliver within the period that I'll be leading. I actually came up with 3 priorities. I wanted first to ensure that we increase our efficiency in the use of resources. And then I wanted to promote partnering, internally and externally, so that we can deliver on our donor promises. And finally, I wanted us to enhance and promote capacity building of staff, because we have great staff with little support in different areas. They can be great. So those were my priorities. But what I had not counted was the COVID-19 virus. And barely 10 days after I started this role, actually on the 11th of March, it was declared a pandemic. And this disrupted everything. My priorities changed completely. From that moment, what my biggest priority was to ensure staff safety, to ensure that we survive as individuals and as an organization. My second priority, in line with our humanitarian calling, was to join forces with other stakeholders to prevent the spread of the disease. What I had to think about was, how do we follow the directives being issued by the government? For instance, the government required us to stop all movements, to decongest, of course to have things like hand washing stations everywhere, to have sanitizers, to have protective equipment. So we had to look already within our budgets and see how to raise the various items required. And we had to classify staff. We had to look at who was needed at that point and who could take a break so that we decongest our offices. Out of 250 staff, we already identified about 130 who could leave, who could take leave or work from home. We had to make plans on how they would get home. We also had now to come back and look at those who were working, the 120, how to support them better to make them work. Among the very first steps was to get them protective equipment, masks, gloves, infrared thermometers, hand washing stations everywhere, from their office to where they do food distributions, and sanitizers. Everybody needed to have their own, so that wherever you are, you keep sanitizing. We also had to adjust our times. There is a curfew. There has been a curfew now for the last almost 2 months. And we had to work on how do they leave later for the field and how do they come back earlier. We went ahead and informed our donors on the issues, on how the COVID situation and the restrictions were affecting our work. We let them know at length what we were able to do, what we are not able to do, so that they are not disappointed. And to be fair, the donors have been very understanding. A number have already allowed us to reprogram some of the money to use it for the COVID response. We realized that majority of the population we served had no idea what was COVID-19, what was it all about, or how would it affect them. They thought it's a disease far away, and they were going about their lives in a usual way. So we had to get down, use every resource we had. For instance, we had equipment that we usually use in the child-friendly spaces, megaphones, public speakers. We had to come out with those items and go out door to door, road walks, boda boda rides, every way to just share the message. This is a fight that we know does not take a day or a week. We have to continue, and I believe we are going to win.